How to spot manipulation tactics and protect yourself. Once upon a time, there was a psychologist who spent her life figuring out why people do what they do, especially when it comes to tricky things like manipulation. She wondered, can we spot when someone is trying to trick us and keep ourselves safe? This question sent her on a deep dive into the tricks people use to manipulate others. She hoped to find ways everyone could use to protect themselves in their daily lives. On her quest, the psychologist learned about the give and take rule, which means we feel like we need to return favors. Sometimes people use this rule to take advantage of us. She discovered that if we pay attention to when someone asks for too much after doing us a small favor, we can avoid falling into their trap. Then, she looked into how we all like to stick to our word. Manipulators use this by getting us to agree to something small, hoping to lead us to bigger things later on. How can we stop this cycle? The psychologist found that taking a moment to think about why we're saying yes can help us avoid being pushed into something we don't want. Next up was the scarcity trick, where we want something more if we think it's running out. She figured out that if we understand what's really available, we can stop ourselves from being rushed into decisions by the fake urgency manipulators create. Following her exploration of the scarcity trick, the psychologist turned her attention to the halo effect. This is where we assume someone is trustworthy or good in all areas because they excel in one. She wondered, could spotting this illusion help us avoid being misled by a false sense of security? Her investigations led her to see that by questioning the overall perfection of someone based on a single good trait, we can prevent ourselves from being blindly led. Then she dived into the world of emotional appeals, where manipulators use our feelings to get what they want. Could understanding our emotions protect us from being swayed by someone else's agenda? The psychologist discovered that by recognizing when our emotions are being targeted, we can take a step back and think logically about the situation, helping us make decisions based on reason rather than just feelings. The psychologist also explored how we often listen to people who seem to be in charge. She learned that if we question the true intentions and authority of these people, we can resist being unduly influenced by them. Another trick she studied was going along with the crowd, where we do things because we see others doing them. The psychologist believed that by thinking for ourselves and questioning the crowd, we can make our own choices without being swayed by others. She then delved into how manipulators can pretend to be friends to get what they want. The key to protecting ourselves? Being aware of who our true friends are and not falling for fake compliments or friendships. The contrast tactic was next, where choices are set up to make one option seem much better than it is. The psychologist found that by being aware of this setup and questioning the options given to us, we can avoid being tricked into making a choice that isn't really in our best interest. The big ask, small ask technique, where a large unreasonable request is followed by a smaller one to get us to say yes, was another manipulation method she uncovered. By recognizing this pattern and sticking to our initial no, we can protect ourselves from being persuaded against our will. Lastly, she investigated the small yes, big yes strategy, where agreeing to something little can lead to agreeing to something much bigger. She concluded that being mindful of the small agreements can help us stay in control and avoid being manipulated into bigger commitments. Through her in-depth research and practical advice, the psychologist not only exposed the tricks of manipulation, but also armed us with the tools to recognize and protect ourselves from it. Her journey teaches us the importance of being aware and thinking critically, providing us with a guide to navigate the tricky waters of human interaction in a simple and understandable way.